G'day and welcome to some Chillout 3D modeling. I'm Eric, and I just want to first thank everybody, all the new people. The amount of people who have subscribed has doubled in as soon as I turned around. Let's make some 3D models. The model comes from Irian Kibichi. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. But they said they would like a stylized battle axe, and I'll make it a little not speed up the time lapse by tenfold this time, just so you can follow along a little better. The first thing, as always, is to find my reference images. The main problem I had at the start here was trying to figure out what type of stylized I was going for, as stylized is just anything that isn't hyper-realistic and has a specific style applied to it, or just a unique artistic representation or style, I guess. So, my interpretation of a stylized battle axe is like an elaborate double-headed, super unrealistic axe for war. In this case, I'm going to make it rather simple. I'll try my best at a stylized texture, but it's not my strong suit. Yeah, especially using Substance Painter. Like the previous axe I've done, that everybody seems to like. I have made the handle using a subdivision surface modifier. This one's going to be much more straight. It's a little bit rounded, not rounded, ellipsed, not perfectly round. Just because a perfectly round thing in real world is a lot harder to grab, and so having a realistic base for a unrealistic model makes it a little more grounded in reality than just a crazy out there weapon. What you can see on the screen at the moment is me stuffing up the first attempt at the axe head. It's alright, it happens all the time. It's, in the end, this is art. If you don't like something, you can try again. Try different styles, try different shapes. There are rules and stuff around it, but in the end, if it looks good and performs well, who's to judge you? The actual method that I'm using to create this axe head is I start off with a flat plane, shape it to the general size of how I want the shape of the axe head to look, and then I'll give it thickness and shape it on the third dimension from there. Because since this shape is rather simple, I just find it easier to do it this way. On the modifiers side of things, I am using only a mirror modifier for the head of the axe, just to mirror the one head to the other side to make it a double-headed axe. Then for the handle, I also use a subdivision surface modifier there. You can see me here making edges sharp. That's just by selecting the edge, right-clicking, and there's one of the various options for edges is to make them sharp. This will just make sure that when shading in smooth, that edge isn't calculated as like another curve. It just makes it gives the lines that I want to be nice and crisp, keep them nice and crisp. I'm trying to think of stuff to say. It's hard. Yeah, I have to fill up these pieces with me talking, or else people just seem to skip through them all. Here I'm just finalizing the handle and doing final touch-ups. Here I'm reducing the amount of polygons, just because I'm a sucker for a low amount of polygons. Now here's the UV editing. This one was rather simple again, similar to the previous axe. It's another axe, but now 2 heads. You can see here I'm just fiddling with it, trying to find a good spot. Just a good spot to place them. Now over in Substance Painter for the texturing, I first bake everything that needs to be baked. This includes like ambient occlusion, normals, positions, and all the fancy stuff that goes on behind the scenes of Substance Painter has to be baked on. So you can see that flickering across the screen very quickly. Then I start with the handle, where I make it a nice wood texture. I think I start off with a much harsher wood that I then change because I find that I already had a pre-made like toy wood, and I feel that worked much better. To make it more stylized, I didn't want to use the hyper-realistic textures that come with Substance Painter, so I decided to make some of my own, where I use components of those hyper-realistic textures, like the bumps and stuff, to make the bumpy roughness of the unsharpened parts of this battle axe, and the streaks across the sharpened parts. But yeah, for the most part, it's solid colors and gradient maps, not gradient maps, gradients that give it a more cartoony sort of feel to it, apart from its shape, of course. With this axe, I was having the same issue as the previous one, where the reflections were being really dark for some reason. However, I did find a solution. The solution was that the roughness, I just increased the roughness a bit and slightly decreased the metallic, just because having a perfectly reflective surface, that's for mirrors. Metal isn't actually perfectly reflective, it just is shiny. So by increasing the roughness, reduces the amount of actual reflection and more just glimmer and shine to the base color behind it. Nothing too interesting happens through the final bit of texturing here, so I'm just going to take you to the final renders. who's watched through to the end, even everyone who wasn't here, who's just watched the renders. And thank you to Kibichi for suggesting Battle Axe. I hope your game is going out well. You can download it through my Sketchfab if anyone needs it. If anyone wants to use it, just reference me. Just don't steal my work. And have a good rest of your day.